I first teach in Mendrisio, at the Academy of Architecture in Mendrisio. I was invited by Peter Zumthor, the Swiss architect, invite me after the Venice Biennale. We in 2002 we have represent Switzerland at the Venice Biennale with a very important work for me. It was the Harmonorium. So it means the hormone, this is some molecule inside the body, that are activated that can be activated by inside body, but also by outside phenomena like light or air. And so in this Hormonorium project in 2002 for the Venice Biennale, we wanted to say that architecture is not only culture, it's not only visual, it's not only talking about something, it's also a physical space, where you are interact with and your health is interacting with it, your body is interacting, but not as a metaphor, but as a real material. So it's why I was very quickly interested into climate issue, because about temperature, about light, about humidity, about pollution, about all these physical phenomena. And at that time, it was not really something that was really interesting. The architect was more interesting into the social and cultural approach of aesthetic approach about things, and not really about physiology and climatic issues. So this is a this is where I'm coming from. This is this approach, this more physical approach of architecture that was already at that time linked maybe with some transformation of the world. And then about teaching, yes. So after this pavilion, Peter Zumthor has invited me to teach in Mendrisio. And since it was in 2004 or something like that, and then I start to teach at the AA school in London, and then after 2010, I was invited during 10 years to teach in the US, like during 2 years at Princeton University, and then at Harvard University, and then at Columbia, and at Cornell. So until last year, I was one semester by years, in the US for teaching. So it's teaching, research, and exhibition, are a kind of laboratory for me that are completely close, completely linked to my practice. This is working together, and this is, how to understand the world or to develop new tools, for working. And so this is a little how I combine the academy and the practice and the exhibition, as exhibition as a kind of it's a little like the scientific magazine. This is a little, the exhibition is a space where you can present what you are looking for, what you are your research. So yes.
Yeah, sounds great. Wonderful. Yeah, I see. I see also that you, your specific culture is readable in many study and books that from your side, and I'm really keen about this architecture physiologique, as you mentioned before, and also the architecture meteorologique. And what is really, I have to say, amazing from my side is to see this is history natural of the architecture, and which means that you developed your specific view about architecture. When we think about I'm also an architect. When we think about, the architectural concept is starting from Vitruvio, and after, in the Renaissance period, till the revolution, industrial revolution, we had an evolution of the concept of architecture. And what sounds really interesting from my side is in the new century, you are, not discovering, but you are taking into account, the real concrete concept of architecture. And may you, in few words, I know that the history of natural architecture is something that needs a lot of time to explain, but may you tell me how we get here in this new millennium, and what are the new challenge that we need to face, and what we can learn, thinking about the history, because the history is always important.
Yes, yeah. For me, it was important to look back in the past, the story of architecture, because when I was student, it was a period of what we call the postmodern period, with the Tendenza period of Aldo Rossi, Benevolo, and that came from the structuralism. Structuralism is from the Claude Lévi-Strauss. It's a French anthropologue, and all this generation was looking to things, to the history, or to building, only from what in the Karl Marx language we can say it was only from the from the superstructure point of view. So it was not about the infrastructure, like climatic issue, food, energy. It was only from the superstructure, from aesthetic, cultural. So only about the meanings of things. So it means, for example, if you have a dome, like the Pantheon, or like the dome on the Villa Rotonda from Palladio,
Sure.
it's mean prestige. It mean you are rich, or you have the power, or I don't know. It means something. But when you read Palladio, the book of Palladio, or if you read Alberti, or they are not talking about the dome like that. They are saying that the dome is, high ceiling is to remove hot air, because if Alberti say, okay, for the winter you should have low ceiling, so you keep the heat on you, and for the summer you should have high ceiling for removing the hot air, and so you can stay cold down. So this and the rotonda, why there is the dome at the top, there is a hole like the Pantheon in Rome. This is for removing the hot air, because if you close the hole, it's like in French we say cocotte minute. When you cook a vegetable,
Yeah, sure.
you need to open at one time. If not, it's too hot.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is the rotonda and Pantheon in Rome. This is, you have to remove the hole in order to let the hot air going out. So these kind of things disappear completely about the explanation of architecture from 1950 to 2019, maybe. It's disappear because nobody was talking about that. Nobody was talking about energy, temperature, humidity. It was only the engineer, but nobody cared about them. It was maybe, you give this job to your subcontractor, so you have to put the radiator and the air conditioning, but you don't care as an architect. But from me, why it was like that from 1950 to 2019, it was because we have the antibiotic and we have the oil, that gives us so strong power to the human, that we forget that before that it was very complicated for the people, and for example, you know, a lot of decision in the history of architecture was linked to the lack of energy and the lack of antibiotic and vaccine, you know, because so and so my history of architecture is to come back to the past and see this kind of infrastructural reason and not superstructural reason, the infrastructural reason that gave form to the building or to the city. And why I think it's important today, because today we since 2 years now we have the COVID-19 pandemic, and since and now we have the global warming. And so this change, we can no more live. It's no more possible to live like Aldo Rossi period. You know, it's becoming very complicated for us to think only about architecture from a cultural, aesthetic point of view. You know, because we say, okay, what is the carbon footprint of this image you like? You know, Aldo Rossi. Or what is the carbon footprint of your dome, or what is your, you know, so this is no more the same world, you know. So it's why, and this the world where we are living today is close to the old before 1950, before the oil and antibiotic, you know. So it's why I think we have to learn from the past, you know. We have to come back and to see, and so this is why this natural history of architecture was important for me, you know, like to bring back on the table, you know, some method of the old period. Sometimes it was completely wrong. They make a lot of mistake and they misunderstand a lot of things, you know. But it showed that, you know, it was this kind of infrastructure presence was very strong, you know, in the design. And so maybe we have to look back to these type of things.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing the English translation of your history natural of architecture, because right now we are only in French.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward, because I'm really keen to read that book. So
Yeah,
I hope.
Unfortunately, today we don't have plan for an English translation. I hope we can find.
I need to learn French.
Yes, okay.
Well, yeah, but you are also a designer, and you participate as an architect, as a master planner in many flagship projects. And how you can translate in shape, in aesthetic, this idea of to say climate-driven solution, not only climate-driven solution, but also to say environmental driven solution. May you make just to say some example of one of your projects, how you dealt with these topics?
Yes. I think I can work on two different definitions. First, maybe there is a cultural definition of space. For example, this is what we made with at Farini in Milan. You know, it was to redefine the type of public space. So when we say public space, what it means? It's is it a commercial space for cafe and boutique of fashion clothes, you know, or is it the market space like it was before, or is it the drinking fountain? You know, like the campo in Venezia. You know, you have all these campo that are in reality that are the place for collecting the water, the rainwater, and that creates the public space. So there is some reason behind the public space. It's not, and so the postmodern generation see the public space only as social space, you know. Okay, but today maybe we can, if you look back, so you understand, okay, the public space was not only social space, it was also food space, you know, where you can buy food. It was water space where you can find drinking water. It was health space, like during the 19th century Haussmann, or you know, the park was a place where to clean the air with the trees, because it was we think at that time that the CO2 was a toxic material. So so today, what can be a public space? And so this is why we have invented this idea of a limpidarium. I like very much the limpidarium. It was the idea to redefine a public space with that was like, okay, this is a social place for people to have to rest, to have to take time, you know, like it's a kind of park, urban park, or it's a plaza, you know. This is like this kind of void, public void in the city. But in the same time, we give environmental task to this public space, and to clean something, like to clean the air or to clean the water. So it's why this idea of limpidarium. So it creates like it clean the air, limpidarium d'aria or limpidarium d'aqua. So it's clean the air, it's clean the water, and in the same time, it's become yes, a public space for the people to. So I like this cultural reinventing, you know, of a new type of typology of space in the city. So and then in Farini, we we have also this big lake that was collecting all the rainwater, and that was creating also a plaza, you know, of rainwater, of collecting rainwater. So I think this connection between environmental issue and cultural, you know, it's quite interesting. So this is like a cultural point of view. And then from a meteorological point of view or climatic point of view, I like to work with climatic phenomena. I like to say, okay, how we can design with convection, how we can design with conduction, how we can design with emissivity, or how we can design with effusivity, or how we can design with evaporation, or how we can design with radiation, or how we can design with thermal inertia or with diffusivity. You know, this, all these kind of physical phenomena, and so this is what we are looking for. For example, in the limpidarium of Farini, we try to clean the air, and to cool the air. So for doing that, for cooling the air, we are using evaporation. You know, we like a fountain, that the transformation of phase from liquid to gas reduce the temperature of the air. Or we are using albedo. You know, albedo. You know, so we are choosing very high albedo white surface in order to reflect the light and not to absorb the heat of the light. And so it means also we need a very low emissivity material. You know, because the infrared of the sun should not be trapped by the material of the ground. Or we should think about the shadow of the trees. In Taiwan, for example, in the big project in Taiwan, we decide to have trees with a lot of leaf that create a big shadow. You know, we decide the type of tree linked to big leaf or a lot of leaf or white leaf. You know, so this is like decision like that. And then against pollution, we say, okay, we should trap catch the PM 2.5 pollution. So we know we can do that with rain, you know, in the natural world. Rain make falling down the PM 2.5, the particulate matters of pollution. So, okay, we propose in Farini to have also some time when it's very polluted to have a rain there. Or we say, okay, maybe we know that some type of trees with hairy leaf or with coniferous, you know, that can paste the PM 2.5 on the leaf. And so this is like decision like that. And then another about the form, it's maybe by convection. We use very often convection. You know, when you have a hot area and a cold area, so it creates a flow of air. You know, it's a sea breeze, for example, and so for example, in the urban space, we propose to have like hot area. This is something we made, for example, in we have proposed that for La Défense for a project, but it was not selected. But it was the project to create like a hot area and a cold area to create a wind, you know, so it can cool by, you know, by convection the body and things, you know, by creating this flow of air. And so this is something that can be interesting from an urban point of view, you know, to create wind, you know, like a city wind, you know. So this is something how to this, you know, by cooling and so so the idea is to say, okay, we can use a climatic issue, climatic knowledge as tools for the design, and not only, you know, when I was a student, you know, it was more about metaphor or cultural. So, but now we can say, okay, if we have to decide what will be the material of a building, okay, maybe in Farini also we have proposed that. It was quite interesting, I think, the albedo strategy. We say, okay, the top of the roof should be white, and then the vertical facade at the top of the building should be black, and then it becoming white. And so the black here, it's to trap when you have the sun. If it is white, the vertical, so it will bump down and heat the street. But if it is black at the top of the building, it will catch the light, and the heat will stay at the top of the building, and so it will be removed in the sky, and not going down. So
that's
this is
very
like
interesting. That's very interesting, because most of architects just consider the strategy to reduce the heat island effect just for the roof. Yeah, just for the roof, you know, with the white materials and materials that have got this solar reflectance index very high. But nobody make this activity speaking about the facade, and this is very, very interesting to consider. And, and of course, this is also something that you know, change the design of the facade, because you are, you know, changing materials because of you know, a very important reason to reduce the heat island effect on the street, not only in the building, but in the street. Yeah.
Yes. And so yes, we made a project in Munich, in Germany, that was also to create like Kaltplatz for the summer, warm Platz for the winter, you know, like to with a lot of sun, and now also for the project we are doing with you and Oma for Milan for the Scala, we are thinking now to propose, like, because they were talking to keep the one structure to make a kind of crystal palace, like greenhouse. And so we say, okay, we can have the greenhouse, and so like a crystal palace, like very hot, like a hot house. But we can also do the cold house, you know, like an underground grotto for escaping during the summer, you know. So we can go in the hot house during the winter, and in the grotto house, cold house during and so this is like human activity on the site, and then we can manage the, you know, we can say, okay, the rest of the space can be for flood management and for non-human things, you know. So this is a little this kind of attitude we can have on the landscape, you know, like very physical attitude. Okay, yes, and yeah.
Yeah, no, thinking about innovation in architecture, and does the digital subject is something that, you know, to address effort in the future? What's your idea about digitalization and innovation in architecture? Because now we are speaking about to see simple concept, but very, very important, with this very important and strong symbol. But you know, right now we have to deal also with innovation and devices. Now we speak a lot about digital twin and digital features, also system that can adapt automatically according to climate, you know, conditions. So what's your idea about this point?
My idea, in Taiwan, you know, we have won in 2011. We have won a very important project on the site of an old airport, of a site of 70 hectares for doing a park, and we have proposed a lot of digital management, monitoring on that. So for me, the digital is of course it's used during the design process, you know, like, okay, by using CFD, computational fluid dynamic, or radiation mapping. I like very much to do that, you know, to analyze the site and to project with this kind of computer software. I think it's really interesting, because it and so this is like on the design phase. And then for the in Taiwan, we have also proposed to have a monitoring. For example, we have proposed to have climatic devices that was creating rain or creating blowing air when it was very hot, when it was, of course, a lot of sun, and the sun was activating photovoltaic panel, producing electricity, and then with the electricity, it was activating fan or things like that. So for me, it was fine, you know. I like very much that, because it was only photovoltaic energy. It was not you know, carbon energy, but it was complicated to. In reality, it was really a complicated part of the project, because for some people it was like, okay, like having air conditioning outdoor, and but if you explain, yes, but it's air conditioning, but without using fossil energy. You know, it's only photovoltaic solar energy. So we don't care having if the source of the energy of the air conditioning is renewable. It's you don't care. You can, but this type of discourse is very complicated. And then there is a question of doubt about technique. You know, for some people it's not so easy. And then there is a problem of maintenance. You know, yeah, okay, because maybe it will be broken. Something will be broken. So you have to of course, in all the building in Taiwan, you have air conditioning and you have machine. So everywhere you have a complete industry of people that are repairing things, because everybody are living with machine, nobody are living without machine in Taiwan. But when you are proposing that, in an outdoor space, it's becoming a little complicated, because so I have to say that my experience about the technology is complicated from different type of maybe not for good reason, maybe not from but it's complicated from from a social point of view, because from a political point of view, for different type of reason, and so today I think, okay, we cannot we can do that a little, okay, maybe like to maybe, yeah, because it can be also beautiful, if in Farini, for example, we propose to have rain, artificial rain for depolluting. And of course, all the energy is renewable. It's not using carbon for doing that. If so, I think it can be, if you are focusing very precisely to an event, maybe you can do it. But maybe it's better to work on passive solution, without because it's like a little like at the time of Palladio, they are using passive solution for activating the wind, for creating convection movement, like without. So my experience, it's like my experience now is to say, okay, if we can find some passive solution, without a lot of technology, it will be better.
Thank you. I think the same, because this is a long-lasting solution, because technology and digitalization is evolving very, very fast. And if you find a solution today, maybe in 2 years become old.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Before you mention a word, machine, and in my mind, I was connected to the machine de Habitero Le Corbusier. So today, in your idea, the machine of Habiter is something totally different than Le Corbusier idea, because it was a different concept. But I understand that there is still something that coming from the Le Corbusier lectures that is already in place, still in place in your idea. Is it correct that you are strongly connected also with the Le Corbusier?
No, I don't. No, no, I don't
Too
think
much.
that. No, it's no. I never think about that. I think no. I think it's true that for example, Le Corbusier, when he wanted to destroy Paris, yeah. So, but think, if you look back, you understand that the people, they were dying in the old district of Paris at that time, of tuberculosis, of cholera, of a lot of disease. And so when he proposed to destroy Le Marais, or this center district of Paris, it was from a health point of view. They didn't accept anymore that the people die in this, because they were thinking about this miasm, that the death, the disease was in the air, so we have to remove and to open. So it was a little similar to Haussmann. So from what I would like to say, that Le Corbusier was thinking about design without antibiotic and without vaccine, and so it changed completely your point of view. But I have to say that so modernity. What I like in modernity, it's like I like the the scientific point of view. I think, you know, I believe in science. I believe, you know, I think the postmodern generation create a very big doubt about science, you know, but it was also for good reason, you know, at that time. It was because it opened the notion of multiplicity or diversity or, you know, so me, sometimes I say, okay, I want to be modern in the method, in the tools, but the goal is postmodern. It's diversity. You know, I don't want to do, for example, in Taiwan, it's very clear about that. In Taiwan, we say, okay, Taiwan is a tropical climate, so it's hot and humid. So we say, okay, we want to propose um, some cold and dry space because it will be more comfortable for the human body. But we also accept that there is very uncomfortable area, you know, too hot and too humid. We don't say that it's too bad. We have to remove that completely. We say we have to work with gradation. We have to work with diversity. We have to work with a multiplicity of microclimate. You know, and this is why I'm always working with gradation. You know, there is not only a blue color. It's only a blue with a gradient that go to the red, you know. And this is what I like, because I don't want to say, you, Antonello, you have only to go here. No, you are free to go also here and here and here. So this is not my. I don't want to be directive with you and to say you have to be only in this type of climate, like Le Corbusier, where, you know, Le Corbusier was saying, okay, this is a climat parfait, the perfect climate, so you have to be there and it will be good. But me, no, I say no. We have to open a range of different possibility, and this is it's why, for example, it was funny at the beginning of the Taiwan project. We work on heat, humidity, and pollution. And so we create area with less pollution by it was also because of type of trees. It was also because it was far from the road. So we find area without pollution. And then at the beginning, we also propose polluted area because the city was already polluted. So we say, okay, in this area, we will keep the pollution as it is. We will not try to remove it because it's not possible. We don't have the tools for the means for transforming completely the city. You know, you're okay. Maybe you can transform one area, but not everything. So then at the beginning, we say, okay, we will keep also some polluted area, and in the polluted area, we will propose some smoking room, some you know, like to make meat. I don't what is when you do fire, barbecue, you know, barbecue.
Okay.
Things like we propose to have source of pollution, you know, okay, but it was in the polluted area, so you can you know, you can pollute there, you can smoke, and so, and this the client, the government of Taichung said, no, we don't want this type of polluted area, you know, because it was okay. But from my point of view, yes, we can accept that, you know, some people, they smoke, so we can accept that, you know. This is not I'm not a moralist about that, you know. I want that you can go, so it's why but it's still working on scientific principle, you know. It's not it's the freedom is not possible because for the postmodern generation, freedom is possible without science, you know. You know, there is a kind of fight between a little science, you know, it came from Michel Foucault. Scientific principles are creating power, and freedom need no science. So in a certain way, it was something that that was it. Maybe I'm simplified the way of thinking, but it was something like that. And so, but today I think this is, of my point of view, this is what we have to do. You know, and for example, I was talking with some, you know, in some project you can say, okay, what is the luxury today? Luxury can be like in the old time, you know, you have a wood that came from Amazonia. And today we know that the footprint of this type of wood is so important. So okay, maybe what will be, is it still luxury? It's a kind of, you know, to have this kind of wood. So maybe you can have a local wood building with only a special room that will luxury with using Amazonia wood. Of course, it's completely strange, but because this is not good from a carbon footprint point of view. But it can be a kind of luxury stupidity in a certain way.
Sure. Yeah. Before I was speaking about Le Corbusier was like a provocation, of course, but I think there is also something good in all the experience at the root of the idea of the modern thinking about the science is something that, of course, belong to our world in a total different way, and that's why thinking to the Paris chart and the climate agreement. What's your idea about the future? How we can manage large issues effectively in short time, because the timing is very important. Is it possible? Do you think it's possible to to face all these climate change issues that it looks that we need to do something very fast before the next years, before the 2030. Otherwise, we will be all in danger.
Yeah, I think it is changing a lot already today. You know, for example, in architecture, for example, I have to say that, you know, the today people like wood building and or stone building, and the people, they don't like anymore concrete or steel building. So it's so it's already a change. And so everybody are talking about that everywhere. It's the you know the I have to say that, for example, because I'm teaching, and today I think the gender and post-colonial idea are becoming very strong for the students. And from an academic point of view, it's a little old idea. It's 20 years you know, concept. And maybe the ecology is a little lower, I have to say. From you know, I think the genders and social are stronger today than the ecology. But surely, you know, next year it will become it's already there, but it will become maybe more and more. No, it's already coming. You know, for example, the student, they say okay, the school is talking about ecology and climate issue, but what about the ecology and the climate issue of the school itself? You know, so we want to have the carbon footprint of all the activity of the school, and so just one moment.
No, no problem.
So I think the ecology, the climate is really becoming strong. This is what I see from, you know, and a lot of change are already coming. So I'm not you know, because I know that for some people they say you know, nobody act, but no, it's true. I think maybe it's true that we have to look to the, but I think from the aesthetic point of view and from the social point of view and political point of view, you know, the ecology becoming very strong. And today, for example, you know, like 5 years ago, we like concrete building, you know, but today nobody will give a prize to a concrete building. You know, you will never win a competition if you are doing concrete building without trees. And I think it's already changed. So I I don't know if it will be enough. Surely, you know, a lot of transformation will happen, you know, from migration, from food, from you know, and but I think yes, the changes are already there. Yes.
That's good. That's good. So we feel a little bit optimistic about the future
Yes.
because
Yes.
there is already something we're in the process right now. And and what's next in Philippe Rahm career? What's your next challenge?
Oh, I think I maybe I don't no, I would like to be um, um, I I I know what I'm looking is really to develop, you know, to have to have to win more competition or to yeah, I think it's to yes to build with this type of principle. Yeah,
To
this is what.
spread this idea, of making architecture close to climate concept, you know,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I would like, you know, for I was thinking about that. I in 2005 we have an idea of a museum, of a building with it was made with floor with a lot of hole, and the air can move everywhere, and we were building a kind of atmosphere with a hot like a sun, like hot pole, cold pole, that was creating a kind of interior weather, interior meteorology. And this project, it was never built. I tried several times to propose something similar to that, you know, and it was never realized. So I sometimes I think, it's so good. It's so good. I would like one day to, you know, to realize that, because it, you know, this to have this idea that you are entering a building and you are entering a new universe with a sun and a moon, you know, like, you know, but it's linked to,
Fantastic.
yes, it's linked to heat and to radiator and to air ventilation. So it's like taking all the technical issue of heating, changing the air, you know, that as a meteorology. And so this is something, yeah, one day I would like to build a building like that, you know, that it
That's
will be
great. That's
so
great.
so wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's a dream that can become realistic because I believe that we are, you know, we are in the cultural shift right now to think about the architecture in a different way. So there is a real room for your,
Yes,
you
you
know,
think
for
that,
your idea.
that's good. I like that.
I hope so, but I'm pretty sure it will be. And yeah, because this is an interview that will speak also to all this community of architecture all around the world. And may you give like a special wish for the new year for the architecture community, for people coming from different culture, you know,
Yes.
your wishes for the future.
Uh, my wish will be to stop to create this opposition between culture and nature, because today when I'm talking about health and energy, you know, and I say, okay, the energy is creating form, is creating aesthetic, You know, the people, they always say yes, but they're not completely, you know, you have this cultural that is still independent. The culture is still something that is only from human point of view, and that is not dependent of nature, or not this is like, and this, you know, I really don't believe about that. I don't believe that there is this separation between culture and between superstructure and infrastructure. I really think that the, you know, the cultural fact are very often coming from the natural or infrastructure reason, and so my wish is to accept. My wish is to accept that we are not only human, we are also animal. And because we are animal, we have to accept that our culture is also physiological, is also climatic, is also energetic, and is also linked to food. You know, so this is what I would like to break. You know, this kind of belief of the architecture only like a autonomous cultural language, and without this understanding that it's completely fed by the infrastructure, by the energy condition, and yeah. And I think it will change a lot. It will change a lot if we accept that. You know, it can change a lot of things.
Yeah, I think this is a very good, you know, wish for all the community, you know, to start to think to architecture in a different way, not anymore the hand of the architect, you know, on the city just to make the signature, but the idea to be in harmony with the environment, with the climate, with all the elements, you know, the 4 elements, you know, fire, water, air, and ground all together. And also the 5th element could be, you know, this new way to look forward. Thank you very much, Philippe. It's very I very appreciated, very interesting from my side. I thank you also for your time in 24 December, which actually is a day that everybody spent with the family. So really appreciate very much for that.